Ia, whatalo whātu lau o whionga savea, ia, malo fo ili so I fuamanuia, malo fo ili ngalue wa afa fo ili neiva yaso, ia, whatalo whātu fo ili mamalu le tunu o whaafonga mai, ia, malo lava le so I fuamanuia, ma ngā lue le ne yaso.
Malo whaftai, whamoe, o lo o ngā pēr le nei po le kalambe, taulongolongo I o tātou a inga, ia me se foi pēr ne whaafonga iai, e iei mātua, sa le leile whaavaina na malanga mai in the 1960s, the 70s, the 80s, ma o ngā lulue, ia ma whapena lava ma whaputuputu, se I o ese mai estate housing in New Zealand, New Zealand state housing, ia ma whapena o na whaataulo luai Fale. Te bilane nei, o mātutua tamaiti, o la fo I o te lele equity o lo I ailunga le Fale. Alo ma fau, po le ale me tau na whai, le la o whaile tātou por kalame. Ia malapata ia I fo I la tau, ma fisosa ni atu ia la tau whai unga e whai. E tu sai ma la tau investment, mo le anga I pēr, lava pēr lumanai. Ia I se teimi o lo mwhai o na vili e tuai pēr, ia nai o tātou tangata mau tau whaasoa.
Ia, whaftaisa vea mo le sili, ia o lea lava e vili mai lava le mamalu le tunu, e ese lava ia mea fia malamala mai o isi po le investment property pe na e saunoa iai I o isi foi I o le tūlanga lava le o le fia sa ili pe wha pe feo na wha tau se whale mua. So there are lots as well as o le lava iai na isi foi o lo sili pe wha pe feo na o na wha tau nuu le wha le ina o lato morta o lo iai nei so o lo tele lava le pasile ese o lo te lele au ngao le nei por kalame lo fionga sabea.
Ia malo, o le te bilale nei, lea la tātale no wa umana whaatau le whale mua. A o lea la, o le afsiringia loa, ia lau sunga le tamaitai. O mana o mia toi whaatau se si whale, o se investment property. O lea le mea mua lava, e te tau o no mea na whai e le tangata lea.
Mana ia tele le fasili o te lo se fasili le e tā ua tele. O le memo mua lava I le mātou la pata inga o le sila po le ale mafuanga I mana na o ia whaatau se investment property. Wai tele lava o na mafuanga ese o isi maybe as for capital gains. Polo na winga o lea wha matalanga a wha pe alu le whaatau lau investment property le tausanga le nei. A o lau manatu a alu lunga le value o Fale ua te lele ikuti lela a maua ono le alu lunga o le makesi. Ia na mana ole whaatau ese atu le Fale, so that could be a medium term. So o le tūlanga le a whape o le capital gain, ta e mana o ai e whaatau le investment property. O le si tūlanga a whape is for retirement purposes. O le na winga o lea whamatalanga, it's for long-term income. E for fuale a whape li taia e tātou o la iei sesi source of income e au mai wa umana songi le mo kesi. O lo Fale motu, ma lo investment property, it will then give you more income from the rental income ili tūlanga le topa pailau superannuation. Ia o lesi foi tūlanga, it could be just for mo alo mawhanau, o le tele o na i o tato ainga i e tau sili mai le teimi nei o la i o lato Fale, and one of the main goals le te sila i lato o le whaatau o sesi Fale rent just for now, and ia matua e tamaiti o whaingofio na maybe transfer I a lato tunga o le matou manatu o le mea tāua lava lea ia mawhaiona establish pe mautinoa mua, pe paona malamalama mua, pe o le a le mafuanga o le awhia whaatau se investment property.
Malo, whaftai tāua tele na mo le whaafonga mai le tunu, le amatanga lea. An introduction to thinking of buying an investment property. Awala nisi ito ainga o mea te tau na mawhauwhau iai ia ma o iei lau fuafuanga a o le I whaia le whai unga le mumua.
Ana ia tele le sili sabea ona e tele lava tūlanga e te tau ona silisila iai aile I vaaiele tātou finance. So first of all, obviously, awa umalona whaile manatu a mana na o lava whai se investment property, I o lona luoloa I o la tātou tala noa loa I le tūlanga tau tupe. e abese tatou application ile bank pe au pole ale tatou limiti e mawhai ona whaatau oise investment property. A oise foi la mea e whaatala noa i lona tūlanga lea. E mātou te whautua ina e te saona e whaatala noa se accountant. O le mafu anga o lea tūlanga, ona yei tax benefits as an investor. Ia le mawhai la mātou ona advice le tūlanga lea, ona le o mātou ni chartered accountants, e mātou te le angawaa i lea tūlanga, e le laiseneina mātou i lea tūlanga. So o le si tūlanga na, o mana organizer tatou finance, te tilo lea o le, the next thing is tala noa se accountant, ai le finalizinga se paperwork. Ona advice le la tope whaafewhea ona structure lau investment property, whether e tūpea i tatou suafa le iai le teimele nei, like your personal names, pe advice la tau i tutono se company, which is o le a form se company e tu iai le investment property, or could it be a family trust, o mea umaia e au ngā i le whaatala noa, i le tūlanga lea an accountant, ina ia malamalama ai te le isainina se pepa a mewa malilia no on our proceed to the next stage. Ia oisi fo tūlanga e te saona mana tunatu iai o le ale area. O le ale area ona e tāua tele po ai tu ai ngā tangata o ai le mamalu o lea la ai mana o e rentina lo Fale. For example, a whapea te mana ai whaatau so Fale Waikato, or maybe Dunedin. So rental property, yeah, are you looking at tenants or tamaiti e o le universite? So tu ai ngā tūlanga whapea, e a le leia i le mawhau a mamau i tūlanga whapea, a o whea le tūlanga po o whea le pāto New Zealand le fia whaatawai, a o a fo ia. Are you looking at professional couples that are renting a low property? Are you looking at families that are renting a low property? O mea la ia tā wai le sirisila le area. O le si foi tūlanga e te saona o na mana tunasu iai. O le sirisila le tūlanga lea, it could be maybe a iei se vai tau in. Your tenant possibly, maybe te ua o whaingatana tutongi le lato rent. So this is occupancy rate I te tono o lau rental property. Te ua alu po ua o le isenga luenga le tenant, le tangata le no futongi lo Fale. I o tūlanga umalai e te sawana i se cash flow o tātou I te tono le investment property. Ina ia kawai o na tūlanga ese whapea. Ia mantua fo I lesi tūlanga o maintenance of a property. Te misano o leilo e tātou le rent le teimele nei. Ia se me whale tono o Fale. Ia te vili le landlord. Ia o lātou la ia le ona le investment property. A whapea la o le a whinangalo e whaasauso investment property. Ia o tūlanga ia te taona mana tunatu iai dui. E te taona ia sina cash flow or extra funds I te tono o se account, ia mo tūlanga la ia whapea, o na ne te ua iei se tūlanga I le mwhaina songi le tenant, ia le rent, ia o na maintenance o tūlanga whapea, ia o mea oso ia lava ia whapea te saona o na mana tunatu iei ai le I finalizinga se tātou whaamoemoe, ina ia malamalama le leipo o iei ni tātou, do we have things in place. Ia o mai lea tūlanga, o lau ua nofo sauni tātou.
Maria, awa o le wawa ia tunei, ma whaalongolongo atu lau saunuanga e mele. Ele, alona winga I whaatau, o lewa na fua mamau. E te iloa fo I matangata e o mai inu nofo le whare lea, the type of people, whether they're a working class, or whether they're going to be a family, o wai tilo mamau fo I le maintenance cost, a whai e ni tamaiti, ia mani mea o lai whaatanga I tonu le whare. E loa te le risk, pe a whapea o le a whaatanga ni a inga me no whai. A wa o tamaiti, e leini ma whau, e ta alo, e whaaleanga, e ta lepe, e ele I ma whau, e whaise mea pena e ta lepe. Ia ai te le mea o le a whaaleanga ina. Ia maalua I lunga le cost, ia, le se wai mea le umane u tātala no location, the area, what kind of area. Pese no whanga fo le e se forecast e o matu le lima tausanga o tele ni tangata ma o lo lofi mai le tele o tangata ona e ni events ia po ni si fo I me o le afausia I le ia me tauna ai o le o tata le no le o to allo ma fa tu le ile mele o le investment property wa le falongo mai tangata ia ele o se me na fa ia tu fa ilo if I put a gap for capital gain later, it if I told the funny, it was a retirement plan and home for a long term. Yeah, must avoid. A titilo for you to my son, for longo. You puya etal no so ye accountants. Email Fale afatao is tax on asset sales. La say oh my so experienced in matao bulina.
Yeah, paftaia savea mo le fisili ia ai ona ele o se accountant.
Yeah, mari.
A disclaimer ne te.
Le lau mana e lau saunanga. Tu e tauna engage le tangata tus e vatu la ya malia o fisili atu pe wa le wa fa longo fo le term le na
Yes, well, my Paulo Merna, Elena recommend ma so ya le mamalu le tunu all our clients I finalizing a laco investment properties. In a year fatala nole accountant on there are tax benefits that mafaya ona malama ma ia manino lele be nga po se tulanga saole mo le ainga le vaita yo le si foi me mana e sa ona sirsila yai pe e mana o lava o te managing a low investment property Pete mana o ave e manage as a property manager. Lava angale I real estate agents wa o lato le mana e yaile to real estate agents. They deal specifically with managing rental properties. O lato le chase up pingale your rents ma o e faisiaki o fale po le leile le vainga me fa pena. E wa yai fo yaisi le mamalu le tunu po some of our clients they want to manage the investment property themselves. Ona e sefe ai fo ile si cost.
Ia. Le wala mele o mana tupu. O mana whaatau le whale mua. O leo o whaatau ma le investment property. Lea le tā ua pole le tā ua fo I pe whautuoina, pe le whautuoina, le iai o mo kesi uma. I le whale tupu e tasi or the one or in same financial institution. What's your take on that?
Mana ia tele le fisili savea. From a banking perspective and from a risk perspective. Mātou te whautuaina la vai e vai ese lo fale le ainga le iai, your family home. Ia ese se bank e iai, ese fo ese bank e iai le investment property. One of the reasons one of the le mafo anga e lai na mātou a whautuaina whaapea, a whaapea alu se tūlanga ai Pataulo be for sale low investment property. A whape o leile bank lava e tasi lo fale le ainga plus le investment property. A au mai le tau le ana whatau ese lo investment property ele mawhaio na kawaile mo kesi of the investment property. E a ile ia le bank le e tasi lava. E lato to tap into wai I ma keep his proceeds to low investment sale. It reduce ele mo kesi o le tau whale le ia te men nei. So therefore, wa tele lava le malu le tunu, wa tele fo ia tangata wa lato tele I malama I le tūlanga. I wa ola le tūlanga le wa whaatau lato investment properties. O leile bank uma lava I tasi. Au mai lai le malia le bank le value le iai lo fale le la atu lava le bank for the security of the remaining funds. Ia, ona au mai lo le bank e si tupe na e wha moe te alu te whawai Samoa. Mai le sei o lo investment property. It's tongi ai le si vaenga o lo mo kesi le wa iai. So o le mānei la o le vai ese o mea ie lua. Ina ia, o le alava me a whaatau ese lava lo investment property. Ia, le ise mea o le alo te fua le a foi. O le alo ini si vaenga tupe ana I le proceeds. I le vaenga le e le si bank le ese. So that's one of the reasons po le o isi mafu angana e mātou te whautuaina I vai ese. A whaapea fo I whaapea nā e mawhaiuna build up lo property portfolio. why mawhaile ona tap into different banks here au mai equity lai 2 different properties. Ia ona avele sesi bank whaatawai sesi investment property. So iai lava nai me whaapea mātou te whautua ina ia le mamalu le tunu upo all our clients I tūlanga whaapea.
Ele vale bank. So the whole essence of the bank's exercise and authority over that, lango la tole alwa toi mo kesi umai e lua. Whaatau la resi lea. A le te le mo kesi le, o lolo la tau taltonunga. Tau na mai se vanga proceeds lana I o, e tau whaala I titi e le tau lea. Lea e oua I pe, le teimi le nei le mo kesi. O lona winga, o le taltonunga le bank, ia vavena te ese matawa vai ia lau tau whiangainga. Ile mata upu lea ma vave fo ina umana tongi ile ma toi mana o le bank ile lato tupe toi fo mai e toi release atu histangata M5 fo ona toi whaonga over and over and repeat that process and over. That's what you've showed the simplicity of what the bank has in mind. Pe ava pe elua properties lai ona lima.
Sa lava lau sononga sa vea le tūlanga na ona wa le si foi mea peu la wale se free will o I le tūlanga le te mana o I le tūpelena e mana o e whaonga ona o lea wa pe wa ye le force le ona wa te le lava clients wa maua I le tūlanga lea o lana wha moe a mai uma le proceed le tutoi le whaatawina le whale lea ia e whamai le bank o ia sorry ngā le pau leo le tūlanga le la avatu o lea la reduce ai le simo kesi le, so which is good, but in a sense o lena ye le wha moe o le tangata le fia wha ese le me fia wha ngai le se leni le.
Malo, whaftai, ono le tātai mea tāua le tāta le noa. O lea le me tāua ai le toi mawhau pēr, ma toi whatu langa. Ia se whainga e te tāua na ta oto I ai, lea o le a whai e lo le whatauina o se investment property, ia ma le whaatino ina o se no ngā tupe, mai se whale tupe.
Ia, whafte tele lava se vea mo le fasili, pe o le tūlanga lea o le wa uma na whaile se leni, wa uma na wha tala noa le accountants, me la le tala e ma tā waile tala noa le accountant o na mai lea le recommendation, mai le accountant, pe wha pe whea o na structure le tato mo kesi, in a sense o le ingoa la alu le tato mo kesi, is it going to be interest only or no le si tūlanga le o le tele lava o accountants la to recommending le interest only, which means o le mela ne fautuaina I mātou loa le mamalu le tunu. O le a push uma le tele le tato se leni anga I reduce ai le tato le whalo le ainga. So our family homes, so most of our funds will now go towards ile reducing o le tato family home. O le a peina o le interest pe peina o le tupele tu lui ile towards our investment property ona o le fautuanga mai le accountant ona laina ona benefiti fa if mo will tax o le tulanga la le fa salano o structure ia fa pe interest only o le a foi le interest only ai to so tulanga ia fa salano o malama foi le mamalu le tunu wa ta o tele le malama o le ale winga o le me o le interest only o no lona winga o le ale ai se vaenga o le tupele na no mai o le a e tsongina
the principle
le vaenga le ala tsongina o le interest o le tupele tu lui I le paroina mai o le seleni so o me umala fa pe sa ona mala mai le malu le tunu nei te wa alu ui wa ile ai so me o ko nge le tupele na no mai ngal interest lava le tsong o le si foi la tulanga fa pepe Elena ta wa momua o le it's a we recommend you have maybe a small account, a small floating account or a working account mo le pisinisi le mo le investment property it's a tau lava na separate langa account inna mai si tato expenses I want to babai se lava all mortgage payments all expenses to do with your investment property ia se lava lona account malana mo ke se fa soloi ona o mela ia fa ngofie pe o le vai tenge fa yellow tax Olai to the tilo to the accountant, there's nothing else that is olai in numi solo ai. Na whaafaingo fia leo na whailo return e avele ele IRD. E whaingo fia fo ileo na malamalama e ese mai ele tato living expenses from work to sala o le bisinisi le mele la run. So you now run your business on an investment property completely separate.
After tele lava tol fal tuo te lofo e lai whaafonga mai, and people appreciate the knowledge and the expertise that we share and conversate because of you. Mau tol tonu foi. Ele mwhai ana le yei tangata la tu te wala watu, ia ma fisota iatu, mole si le fia, ma le whaafonga foi le atunu, nana toi whaamanatu, o tamba whanau nei, o alo ma tamba whanau le atunu, e peona iei, ia le whalitua ia Emele Palamo. Ia malo la tufo, ia ngā waa whaapitoa, ina ia wa o ina I tātou, tele teimi I lumuna ia mawai se leni, man tātou manatu e whaatau, ma whaia whai unga le lei. Ia e tātou te le marmalama I whiuia, ingo name tau. It's all to do with law as well. But the simplicity of the breakdown of this conversation, mele mea tauna whai tātou wala au e mele. O lua fitu, valu tolu fitu, valu wha, valu o. So soani ia to e whatalanoi no whare ina ia mwhai on a pre-approve, le loan, ia male fuwhanga le tātou wainga. Mele whaftai tēne lava, always looking forward to our conversation about this. Malu I Fale, ia ma sosoani fo I o tātou hainga, I le whai o whai unga le lei. Teimi lea mo oe, whamanuia I fo I lea tunu, ia matawalunga I le tāpura kalame.
Ia, whaapatai tele lava savea I lau whionga I le whaafoina fo I le tātou mta upu le nea fiafi. Ia whaapatai fo I le mamalu le tunu o whaafonga mai, ia o le avanoa manai e whaatala noa ai, o le anganga lava o le neipol kalame, whaapatai fo I le Radio Samoa I le lato au nanga, ua matua tele le manuia, ma tele le au ngā mo le mamalu le tunu.
Ia.
A iei lava sefsili, feel free to email me. Ia o le au nanga lava, ia whaamalama, ia fisoswani le mamalu le tunu, ia manuia tele malo longo le fiafi, ia soifu.
Ia whaapatai tele.
Ia manuia.
Ia whaasoifu ia ma ia manuia malo longa, ma le ngāngai fo whaiva. O le atunu, a mai so whaiva o le tina. Ia pole whale tua fo ia Emele. O le olua fitu, valu tolu fitu, valu wha, valu o. Olua fitu, valu tolu fitu, valu wha, valu o. Ia, after I le tua, I le atunu te talo mai, ia mo le ono sai mai foi. I le tau wha, ma le ngā pāpā o le leo. Ia e le o tuua ia ma kākia. A wā kākia lo, uoleanga mo ia ma le leo, ma mai mo ia I lo. Ai, whafta ia wanoa le lei. Be kau ngā pāpāla, ia a lai mawhai o na langona. Ia mamamori atu, waile sa vali ma le tautua, I le whaafonga, ia taltono le ale a whaina le ai tū. Ia. A leo tātou se mai. I le vāenga lona lua o le tātou porokalame, Malu I Fale, ina ua toe lua sifuru ma le 5 minute o na tāleo le tū lai 5. Se e mailo uso ia Thomas, ia o le li e le tui tau whailo lo na hanga waa, malana fo I company ma le tōtelo, I lātou te ngālu lue whaatasi. I le whaatino I no ngāluenga o le whausia o le mauta, mai lava I lona whaavai se I o I lunga o lona taua lunga, o na pā si o, ia maona aso whaifo, ia maolona tala ma le tala, ia o mea umana, ia po ole toi whaale le ia foi, renovations of different properties, ia aile ngata I lea, o le a amiina o I lātou o kāmuta, whauwhale, o le whaatino ina o mea o tāro sanga, pēmita, ma mea uma, e mana o mia, mo le whausia ina le whale. Whatalofa Thomas ia te oe, Leuso, always a pleasure talking to you every Wednesday, and to surround us with your expertise and knowledge of building and renovating and making sure the right job is done properly. Talofa lava and welcome to Malu I Fale and Radio Samoa.
Talofa Savea, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here again. It's always a privilege and a pleasure to be here to help our people of Taifoi Radio Samoa. for this great opportunity to be able to share our experience and our knowledge. So greetings to everyone, and I look forward to seeing how we can help serve our communities today.
Malu, whaftai. Tau mai, Thomas, o le ale mea le nai te ngalue ai le teimi le nei, a o a fo ni popo le nga fo le ni mea ono tupu mai. Ai te le I mawhawhawina. In other words, what are you currently working on, and perhaps some you didn't think of these things that will come up and will become challenges to you?
Okay, Taylor and Vasily, that's a very great question, Severe. We're currently doing a renovation right now in Mangere for a very lovely family, Inga. They're all living in the house at the moment. And we did an initial investigation on this property as to why there was a lot of mold growing inside the house. Normally with houses like this on a renovation, normally there'll be what we call issues with water egress issues, where ele vai will leaky through the cladding somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But we have like what we call tell signs, where we're able to see where it's coming from. So during our investigation, we looked at the roof, and the roof was in good condition. So we took that out of the equation. Then we looked at the cladding, which is brick veneer. And normally with brick, it's a very good cladding system. So there shouldn't be any issues with brick. Brick, it's a very good building material.
Mm-hmm.
So we were really almost like we had no clue as to what we were dealing with, because that's not normal for us to see these issues without some sort of tell sign. After we started the investigation, I said to the clients, I said to them, look, we're just going to open one wall just to see why we have this issue here, because it just doesn't make any sense. Once we opened up the walls, we discovered that the builders that built the house, whenever the house was built, they put the building paper outside the house. They put it inside the house. They put it on the inside of the frames. So that's the issue. That's the cause of the issue, and that's the first time in our years of building that we've come across this particular issue.
So, because of this mistake, because it's unseen by the naked eye, because it's all covered, and it was supposed to be the outside, le se la le fatinoina. Ono no winga o mele na tawai, le mele na tatal no muai. To go back to the original blueprint plan of this building and have a relook and revisit it.
Yeah. So the original blueprint of the house didn't even have this. It showed that the paper was on the outside. It was supposed to be. So I don't know how, but a lot of these houses, when they were built in the past, they sort of just got past a lot of, because there wasn't really a council around back then, so it's built a very long time ago. But the bones of the Fale was in great condition. Like the timber, the timber is in very good condition. So the only solution we gave the client was we obviously went through, revisited the pricing of the house, because like I mentioned before, we guarantee a fixed price based on what we can see and based on our investigation. But I did advise the client before we started the build. We said, hey, look, we don't know what's going on here until we have a look. And it was one of the worst homes or Fale I've seen in a very long time, in the Emele mold, which is not good for a lot of our people stay in it. Our people stay in it and they think that's okay. They think that's normal, but it's not. It's not supposed to be like that. So we investigated it further, and we found that the whole exterior envelope of the Fale was on the inside. So it is a room for breathing room for it breathe for moisture to escape. So the only solution was for us to remove the full exterior of the jib of the house, or only the jib, not the cladding, which is also even though it was a extra cost to the client, but it was a great thing to discuss.
Can you check with your mic and your audio, please? So, these houses that were built for quite some time now, The only times that you will find out, it's because of the age of the house, and secondly, the changes in the climate change, and then when it actually happens to the house, that's how you will find out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So a lot of these old houses, depending on the year of Fale, we're able to discover a lot of things with the houses. And one of those main ones is what we call asbestos. Asbestos, Fale, in those days, they were built with asbestos in material and building materials. And those are some of the really expensive issues that we find in renovation. So we always advise the clients, like before we start the build, there is a potential for us discovering asbestos inside or on the soffits or on the cladding of the house. But we normally can see that in the beginning of the investigation. So we always point it out and we say, look, we're not going to touch this. We're not going to disturb the asbestos so that we don't add or incur extra costs for the removal of these things. Like what we talked about in a few times that we've spoken about it is on the budget or the renovation. So it's very important for us to discover and discuss the budget before we even start, because then we can go through and mark out, okay, we can remove this part, we can leave this part, we can add these things, we can remove these things, and working with a company that's really flexible to be able to help you make those decisions is really important.
And the other thing that, have you ever taken into consideration your own health at risk in terms of asbestos? Because I read up on that. It quite be dangerous for matautia la fianga fo urso fo malolo inai o enga lue ai matango fia le fo maenga ole fausi ai fale.
Yeah, we do. And asbestos has been around for a very long time, and unfortunately for us who are in the trade, it's one of the risks that we have to face. That's why we have health and safety and a lot of procedures and protocols that we put in place in order to mitigate or try and eliminate the risk of us being around these types of materials. At the end of the day, it's also the risk for us to be around it. And once we discover it, we always try our best to not only think about our health, but also for our clients as well, clients' health, malako pakiki for at the same time, So there's a lot of back and forth that goes when you're building a house, and it's important to do that initial investigation or initial discussions up front and be very transparent in order to find a good solution.
So, has the building industry have found something to replace asbestos?
Yeah, there's a lot of materials now that are a lot healthier for our families. There's a lot. We can go into that topic maybe another time.
Another time. All right.
Materials. But there is a lot of materials out there. But also at the same time, there are still a lot of materials with harmful chemicals in it.
Yeah.
It's just depending on who installs it, based on the manufacturer specification and along those lines. So there's a little bit more involved with this conversation around materials. But yeah, there is a lot to replace it.
Malu. Le ala ua walau tunei le ainga I lau sunga Thomas Malau Company o le fia fau ia se DEC fo le po se fola fa pipi anga I le fale. Not just the DEC, but o mea umala fa pene I fa pipi I le tino le fale ma pe fau fo ia se mai le fale. E te mana o mia se permita fatanga mai le pulenga fai tu malo po le local council o le ale from the council or council consent?
It depends on the location that you're building the DEC, which a lot of people, though, they don't really go through the process of going through council when they're building DECs. But there are a few areas where you might require resource consent for building your DEC, but not building consent if you're going over a certain height. So if you are building a DEC that is below 1.5 meters, you don't need consent. Anything above a meter, you will need a handrail, or go from falling off over a meter. So you need a handrail around your DEC, any sort of handrail. But the DEC has to be built to 3604, which we call our building Bible. You still have to follow the code to build your deck. And whenever you build your deck as well, I always tell people, don't build your deck, build your deck. Try and keep the deck freestanding, attaching like fale. Because a lot of decks that are built by a lot of people, they penetrate the building envelope, and then it causes leaks, you don't know about, into the fale. So you try your best to keep the deck separate if you can, to try and minimize that risk. Or you can just do it by putting it in, but you need to make sure that when you're building it, that you follow the code when you're doing it.
Because the attachments, and then they need to be sealed out completely.
Yeah, and I've seen so many of those. We've gone to so many jobs where they're trying to find molded fale, and then discovered that because water doesn't just travel down, it travels up as well. So that's another thing that we always explain to our clients, that water travels in and up. So you just got to make sure that you look at these things, and when you design or build the deck, that you look at all the options before you consider building it.
When you come after being asked to look at a house and see if you can renovate the house, or depending on the specification of what they need, how are you going to go through a checklist of checking and making sure that this should be done right?
Okay, so before we build a house and we have the initial consultation with our clients, we have what we call a pre-construction checklist that we take everyone through. In that checklist, it covers everything from the types of materials that we're going to be doing, the type of project or the type of work that we're going to be doing for you, and not only that, the type of contractors that you want to work on your build. On that checklist as well, it has inclusions and exclusions as well. So things that mga ole clientele, for example, they want to get their own kitchen, they want to get their own sink, or vanity, or their own toilets from the supplier, things like that. They can go get those things themselves if they would like curtains, fale, the type of tiles that you want to get, and so forth. Now, the only problem with that is what I always tell to our clients is, you can get them yourself, but you won't be able to have the buying power that we have because of our relationship with our suppliers. So when we come into a job and we do a consultation, we always say we're a fixed price company. We have full package, and we're able to get you the best value and best price in the market because of the collaborations and the teams that we've built and the relationships we've cultivated over the years.
Relationship or not only you built, you're giving the greatest advice, but also you have the mandate in terms of negotiating the price and the set price, and it's a benefit to the client. Clients, they give this to us, but on the other hand, they're getting a sidekick out of it. Can you please confirm that to the public, that no, you're doing and giving them a best favor and the best price there is?
Yes, Taylor, that's a great question, Xavier. I think that's a very good question. No, we don't do sidekick. We don't get extra benefits from building houses for our clients. We build a business. Our business is here to help serve our communities, and I'm very open and transparent in the pricing. I prefer to do open book pricing, which is, I don't know, a lot of companies, I don't know if they do it, but I do. And the reason why is because I truly believe in transparency. This is our margin. This is what we make on top of after we build. I show the client that because they need to see that this is how much we make in order for our business to survive and serve more people like you. For us to succeed, the more we succeed in what we do, the more people we can help.
So most of the work that you do, Thomas, and your friends and company, are referrals,
Yes.
And testimonies from others that have done the work. I mean, that have enjoyed the work that you've done.
Yes. We all about serving our communities, you know. And I think the more you serve people, not just taking their money, but the more you serve people, the more people will refer you. And that's how we built our business. It's all been referrals. I would like to do more marketing so that more people know who we are. Yeah. But so far, we haven't had the need to.
Malu, now we've come to the final question. My father was a builder, and when we're in schools, school CP level taimi mamalo lo mai email tu wanga wa onga. Ya matu te o mai matu te so soni lana kon kalate la sa iloa el totele sa taule 3L construction la ululi sona la vea. So it was our time to take the truck. Yeah, memori e tama I levaenga. He was basically based around le fosio o le tele o facilities ale kalesia Yesu Keriso la ia songatai e kalesia mamona ono le tele fo io ngarwenga le e kalesia and you know this the church, they have their own construction and subcontractors. So my father was one of the subcontractors to the and that's why I was always interested in watching people building and doing things with their hands, and especially carpentry and building houses. Can you guarantee with me the type of business and the work that you offer to our people for complete satisfaction when the job is done?
Yes, yes, our guarantee is very, very, very straight up. We say to our clients that we offer a 10-year guarantee. The reason why I stand by my 10-year guarantee is because of our workmanship. We take it very seriously. Every client that we have, we treat like family. I want to be able to see them at the mall and say hello and not have any sort of ill feelings or any guilty feelings towards our people. Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason why we're doing what we're doing. I also offer a personal 5-year guarantee for any defects and things like that we may have, because it's normal for construction to have defects at the end. That's very normal. Yes. And also the products that we use as well, because a lot of people, they think that if I buy this type of toilet, it's going to be okay because of like fear. But what you don't understand is that type of material may only have a 6-month warranty or a 1-year warranty. So we try and get products from our suppliers that have a longer warranty, so that when something happens, I can go back to my supplier and say, hey, this certain material is faulty. We need it replaced for the client at cost to the supplier, which is very important. So that's the reason why, like I said, we have a guarantee with our team, our suppliers, and you know that when we build the house, that it's going to be built well and built with love and care. So when we hand it over to you, you know that when you live in it, if I had all memories and the many Christmases and the many dinners you have there, you know it's built with care and love.
You're building it for your, like you're going to live in the house. Olo lava fale lea we fausia awa leo mai tawa tunei. O sisila they swing o le tau. O tatu lau papa, some of them are treated throughout time. Eurufia le vai, mersua vai, susu, ona fefete leo le lau papa. Ia mau whapena foi ona le fitau iai. Ma measurements, ia whapena foi ia meo specifications sa iai le nawai tau le teimina. Ia na vai la ele e vete, e mata e tae. Ia mau urufia e le sua vai. Ia o le mea lana na. A leo o sau no mai ia le sunga. Thomas Karani Kolau guarantees full tausanga na te tui na atu ia whapena foi le 5 tausanga e whai ona toi sau o lana company ma toi sosoni atu e whafou se isi mea. O le telefoni, o lua tasi, 5 tolu wona wha. Tama whanau o Samoa, malana company e sosoni e whapi pi ima fai fale se mea o emana o be renovated lo fale. Because it all comes down, Thomas. You know, if it's done properly, it adds value to your property when comes the time that you're going to sell the property.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Xavier. That's a very good question. You know, you just do it right the first time and you won't cry later. That's the saying, right? Just do it right the first time and you won't cry later. Just always guarantee the work that you're doing because it is your investment. You know, you put so many hours to save up for Fale, and once you have it, you must protect it at all costs.
Yeah, Malu, looking forward to catching up again with you next Wednesday. But at the meantime, brother, thank you for your expertise, knowledge, and sharing it with our people. I will give out your number, 021-558-364. Ya, tamam tina matu lai whalongrong mai. Oh, kama sa saola i o te mauta mana na o sa whaisanga runga o le tātou whale. Thank you, Uzo. We'll catch up next week. You look after yourself and stay blessed. Ya, soifua ya.